I post some things here.
All
We'll
right.
definitely be out of here by 4:15.
Okay.
By the way, guys, I played 2 hours of Squatch today, and I am exhausted.
Squash, man. That's old school. I like that. Not even
Oh,
microphone.
no.
I played 2 hours of zucchini today, and no, just kidding.
I bet you I burned like 1,000 calories in those 2
Spent
hours.
2 hours
Oh my
on the
God.
Google Expressway today, driving.
I hit a
What you're
I hit a
saying, Ak,
milestone
is,
today though.
so what you're saying, Ak, is when I'm driving from the hotel to the Wells Fargo, I should give myself at least an hour and a half time to get there.
Yep. Yeah. Probably. I mean, it depends on when you go. It's not that bad. It depends. But this, for some reason, today was just coming back the other way. I don't know.
Mm.
I hit a milestone today though. Down 45 pounds now since
Whoa,
March.
that's intense. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really.
Yeah, wanted to look good for this podcast for all you people watching.
That's right, and you do.
Thank you. One thing, pet peeve before, because I'm not going to say this on the show. Big pet peeve. It's people on Facebook asking me to play Candy Crush. I'm going to kill the next person that asks me to do that. Like, really.
I stopped playing it.
Oh, you and guys in Canada, you guys are so 1999.
I got stuck on like board 151 and can't get by it, so
Candy
I'm
Crush
done.
in the U.S. was really. We were getting that last like 3 years ago.
Why does everyone keep asking me to play? They're in the States, though, the people that are inviting me. My aunt, who's like 70 years old, just sent me a link to play Candy Crush. I'm like, really, Aunt Maxine?
It happens automatically.
Oh.
It happens automatically.
They have to ask you?
Yeah, basically, if you check like everybody on your list, it's going to send it automatically.
I like this new spam thing though that started. Is that effective in the U.S. as well? That started today.
The what?
Spam. Apparently, companies can't send you emails anymore unless you give consent.
Wow, that hasn't started here. I mean, it probably has, but it's totally ignored if it has. I mean,
but it doesn't pertain to me. Yeah, exactly.
I think I'll maybe start getting the sex emails now every day.
I mean, you're not getting them already.
Because they're the only ones you're giving consent to?
Someone put me on some list, and I started getting like, you want to be bigger?
Here's the problem with that.
Oh, come on, jeez.
No problem with that. But here's the problem with this email thing.
What? I didn't say exactly. I said it so you guys would understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I understood it completely.
Okay.
I get it. I wasn't born yesterday.
Not yesterday.
All right.
I went to the Colbert Report last night.
Nice way to change the subject.
I went and saw the Colbert Report recorded live last night. That was fun. Met Stephen Colbert.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who was the guest?
Carmela from The Sopranos.
Oh, I love her.
I can't think of her name.
Yeah, she was the guest last night.
From Nurse Jackie now.
Yep, Nurse Jackie. Yeah, he was funny. Colbert said his theory is on this whole thing is that Nurse Jackie is just Carmela in the witness relocation program, which is pretty funny. Like that when you think about it. I've never watched Nurse Jackie, but
neither have I.
Very popular show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so let's begin. It is the
25th, Wednesday.
I say June 25th. The weird thing is, my iPad says at the top every day, guys. It says exactly that it's Wednesday, June 25th, and I look at this 5 times a day, easily before this podcast. So, just cannot believe I still don't know the dates. All right, just trying to prove my.
By the way, it is only in Canada. The spam thing, the new anti-spam law.
Canadians, I'm warning you, Canadians, because as an American who's had the internet since way before you guys, I want to say this: that the problem with things like this is that if you get sent something and you want to opt out, and you say I want to opt out of that thing, and you think that that's going to get you opted out, what's happened in America is you have to put opt out on all these things, but when you opt out, that you might opt out of that list. but your email is now known by somebody to be real. And
nice. So
your email is now going to be exchanged to thousands of other people. So the problem with opting out or unsubscribing from mass lists is that, like, they won't legally, that company won't send you anything, but they will sell your email now as one of the emails that they were opted out of for real. So just so you know, there's no getting around.
Well, the email I get though is it says if you want to continue receiving, you must click this. I don't click anything. I just delete it, so I don't have to worry about anything.
Okay.
Now if I can only get people to stop calling my house every freaking
the webcast is tweeted and posted at.
Excellent.
That's my beef for today, by the way.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
My beef is beef Wellington. No, just kidding.
I'm a prime rib guy. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Got some turkey jerky for you guys.
Jerky.
That goes along with that. Never mind.
And to a really expensive restaurant in New York tonight that I'll never go to again. I mean, ridiculously expensive. Fortunately, I was being taken out, but I just never will go there again.
Was it called that?
It was right on Times Square. It was called Aureola, believe it or not, which you have to really be careful about how you say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that has to do something with female anatomy.
Yeah, but that was not it. All right, here we go. Let's start the show. Wednesday, June 25th. We've already gone down pretty much all anatomy paths we can go with the pre-show.
Too many roads.
We've already gone now. We're gonna start the show. All right.
Some people might enjoy the pre-show more.
Yeah, what else can we talk about that's really uncomfortable and just wrong for hockey podcasts to be discussing? You can tune into Josh's Porn podcast, which adds every Thursday night at midnight.
With his collection of porn stars and.
That's not going to happen. All right, here we go.
Yet.
Yeah, no, not yet. All right. Just realized somebody tweeted me that I'm wearing my Voracek jersey. This is not the case. This is just a shirt that happens to be number 93, and this is not.
Since when did the Flyers' third jersey was blue and yellow? Come on.
Yeah, this is called the Gap, I think. All right, here we go. Hey, Hockey World, it's Wednesday, June 25th, 2014.
I am Michael Agello.
I'm Josh Rimmer.
And I am Eklund, and you're watching the Hockeybuzzcast on hockeybuzz.com, coming to you 2 hours and 43 minutes late today. But that's okay, because we have lots to talk about. And the reason I'm late is because people have arrived in my fair town. It's nice when the draft comes to you and you don't have to go to it. It's pretty bizarre. So I went downtown and met with one person, and that led to meeting, who else is here? This person and that person. And yeah, the Hockey World is here in Philadelphia already, and Mike will be coming down to Philly tomorrow, and then we'll be hitting the draft on Friday, and yep, lots to do. So, and lots of rumors, and just another kind of interesting tidbit of announcement. We are going to the first time ever on HockeyBuzz to go to the HockeyBuzz rumor tracker for the NHL draft, which we've never done before. We've only had the rumor tracker up there for UFA Day and for trade deadline, but we're going to be going to it as early as tomorrow, depending on how things start to fly out. And the rumor tracker, a lot of people love that, so a lot of people are very into this. So we will definitely be hitting the rumor tracker hard. It's a fun way to follow everything, and basically means you don't need to be on Twitter, because we're going to tell you everything that's happening from every person out there in one place at one time. So a couple signings today. I was awoken after my trip to the Colbert Report last night in New York, and it was a pretty late night for me, but I was, woken up very early by the rumblings of signings. And first of all, as I reported, Josh, there's my, let's throw that out there. As I reported a couple days ago, Ryan Callahan was getting close to the to signing in Tampa, and he has indeed signed in Tampa for what, the Rangers said they would never give him. Over $6 million. It's a big contract, but I think, talking to people today, that the general feeling of this is that they had to do this, that, moving Marty St. Louis put them into a spot, where they were pretty much, if we're going to, St. Louis, they moves to New York and then also has success, and the Rangers go to the conference finals, and they had to get something for it, and Ryan Callahan is what they got, so they really wanted to make this work, so they're keeping him, and I know the coach loved him a lot. Josh, is this a good signing?
Callahan, I think so. I think there's a good fit for him, especially since Marty St. Louis went to New York. I thought that Tampa would re-sign him as well, but if he had gone to free agency, he might have gone a little bit more money
Yeah.
than he did in Tampa. Obviously, he left a little on the table because he liked his surroundings.
You know what I'm looking for,
Sure.
Josh? I'm looking for the table that people leave money on. You know, I want to find that table. Sorry, just kidding.
I wish it was in my
Oh,
house.
I got it. I got it. Woo!
Anyway,
Over
you know,
my
I'm just saying. People are always saying I left money on the table. I'm like, where is this table? Thank you, Josh.
Sorry, I was. Woo. Anyway,
It was in Vegas.
yeah.
That's one of the tables.
I mean, he obviously liked his surroundings. He liked the system. I'm sure he liked the coach. A lot of people that I've talked to who play in Tampa or played in Tampa really like John Cooper, the kind of coach he is. There aren't many players that dislike him, from what I gather. Everyone loves this guy, and Callahan found a fit in Tampa. Obviously, he didn't put up as great numbers as he could have, and maybe in this new deal he'll be able to put up some decent numbers. But he's a character guy, and he would have been a hot commodity come July 1st.
He would have, and and I know Cooper really, really liked him a lot, and said, actually said to some people that I talked to that, he didn't even know how much they needed a Ryan Callahan until Ryan Callahan showed up in Tampa. And I like that, that's Cooper's way. He is a really strong person, a good guy, and I don't mean physically strong. I don't mean he can lift cars above his head, but I mean he's a very strong individual, and able to leap tall buildings in a single man. But no, John Cooper is one of those coaches that people do love, and I think Callahan was one of the kind of players that Cooper he needs to sell the system to that team. He saw this working really well, Mike. I mean, this is a good fit. I think it's a lot of money, but at the same time, not, I guess.
It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money for a non-center. And if you remember the conversation we had with Jan Levine back in the back around the middle of the year when the stuff with Callahan and his contract with the Rangers was popping up, and both of us were talking about the fact that he was probably going to get more than David Clarkson got in free agency. Yeah. Well, he ended up getting more than David Clarkson. He's making $5.8 million. And the concern that I think Tampa should have with him signing him to a long-term deal is the same thing that it has to concern Toronto about Clarkson, is the fact that they're heart and soul players. They'll block shots, they'll do everything, but 3-4 years down the line, these guys are probably going to lose a step. They're going to be beaten up a little more, exactly. And that contract is going to be an albatross around their neck. And I mean, that's why. If he would have gone to free agency and a team like Buffalo would have signed him, I think it would have been the same thing. He would have been down the road when they were ready to contend. He would have been an albatross. I think he's a character player. I think he was going to get 6-7 years from most everybody. The money, I think, is too much, and that will be a theme of what we're going to talk about through this show, because I think some of these general managers are dropping acid. I think they're nuts.
Yes. Speaking of albatrosses.
Wow.
Let's go to Los Angeles and talk about Marian Gaborik, who has signed a 7-year deal with the LA Kings. Now, it's a cap-friendly deal, I guess, which is why it's 7 years long. But let's remember Gaborik over the last several years, the last 5 years, say, where he's been untradeable because of his injuries and his big contract. And now here we sit, with him signing a 7-year deal with the LA Kings. Now he was very good for the Kings, and Kopitar and he are a great combination, and this could just be a perfect signing. We don't know, but if I'm a general manager, Josh, this is nuts to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people. I've had people contact me after I put out that Gaborik had signed that deal, and everyone's saying, look for Gaborik to disappear after the second year of his deal. He had a huge playoff, but a lot of guys, when they're gonna be UFA, will hit the bank. They'll have a great season, and then they'll drop off. Sam Gagner. did the same thing in Edmonton, not in the playoffs, but in the regular season when he had that 8-point game when he was going to unrestricted free agency that summer. I mean, guys will, play well for contracts, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Los Angeles. Can Gaborik keep this up? Because he looked like a totally different player than I've ever seen. Maybe even, no, that's not true, because he played well in Minnesota.
Yeah, his early years in Minnesota, he was good.
Yeah, he had some really, I saw him score 4 goals in a game. I saw him go around guys.
Yeah, no, he was great. I mean, he was a great young talent.
Yeah, I mean, this was the best I've seen him since back to his Minnesota days, because he was non-existent in Columbus. He was not that existent in New York, except for a couple games maybe. But yeah, I'm interested to see if he could keep this up the full 7 years, if he's even going to play the full 7 years. This is a guy that has had issues staying healthy, guys.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he's healthy now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in a way, I think that plays into the length of this deal. First of all, Dean Lombardi did a masterful job getting him under a $5 million cap hit. I think the years are sort of inconsequential because of his injury history. Down the line, if he goes on LTIR because of an injury, it's plausible because he's been injured so much. So they can almost get away with saying front-loading this deal, and we haven't seen the breakdown of the money. He could be paid 10. Yeah, he could be. Well, he could be paid $10 million the first 2 or 3 years of this, and then the cap hit is insignificant or much less down the last 3 or 4 years of the deal. If that's the case, then they can buy him out, and there is no cap recapture because it's a new deal on the new CBA. But if it's a situation where he has an injury or where he retires, I mean, then they worry about it then. But I mean, right now you've got this team, and the thing is, Josh, he was in the situation in Columbus, in Minnesota with the Rangers. He was the man. He was the guy that was depended on. In LA, he's a second liner. I know he plays with Kopitar, but he can be in the mix behind Dustin Brown, behind Jeff Carter, behind Kopitar. He is not the primary source of offense. So that's going to be a nice thing for him in the sunny beaches of California with a team that's won 2 Stanley Cups in the last 3 years, being in a secondary role and making almost $5 million. I'd love to be marrying Gaborik right now.
Well, it's funny because these contracts that we think about that are long. This is a sort of an old throwback contract to a degree. We saw some contracts like this. I remember one player that signed. I won't say who this player is, but they signed maybe 8-9 years ago now to a contract that I was told by the time by the player himself that I'll never finish this contract. There's no way I'll keep playing. That's an off the record thing. And he said, we're not. I mean, this contract's going to go on longer than I am. But it's a good deal for me. That player just re-signed recently too, so he did go to the end of his contract, and you don't know. So I mean, it's one of these things you just don't really actually know how that's going to play out. But yeah, this is a crazy one, and along with that comes the Edmonton one, the Edmonton signing today of Nikitin. His name alone gets him an extra $1 million because Nikitin is such a cool name. But Josh,
so nice they named him twice.
Yes, right. Josh, your thoughts on Nikitin, who put up 2 goals last year? 2 goals.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. 13 points, Zach. I mean, this is a guy that was the 6th defenseman in Columbus last year. Didn't play well at all. His best year was the first year when they acquired him from St. Louis for Chris Russell. He's been non-existent the last couple of seasons. And for Edmonton to throw $4.5 million a year at him is ridiculous. I mean, when I first saw it, I'm like, wait a second. Is this for 1 year or is this for 2 years? What's going on here? $4.5 million a year? Is he going to be a top 4 guy in Edmonton? I don't think so. Maybe I could be wrong. But obviously, the scout for the Edmonton Oilers is a former Columbus Blue Jackets general manager. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Scott Housen.
Thank you, Scott Housen. I was thinking Scott Arneal, but he was not the GM. But anyway, Scott Housen was maybe very high on him when he traded for him in Columbus, and somehow sold McTavish a bill of goods that this guy is the next coming. I mean, he's got some upside, but I don't think he'll ever get there, guys. I mean, he takes too many games off. He's showed flashes before, but they don't. They come very not often, and a few. I forgot the analogy I was going to make, but yeah, thank you.
No, absolutely.
Thank you. I don't think he's that great.
Anytime. Yes. No, I know. I agree. No, I really. Here's the hope. Okay, looking at Nikitin's stats, there's an interesting trend. So he comes into the NHL in 2010-11, plays for the Blues, plays 41 games, puts up 9 points. Fine. Next year he so the next year he comes in and he has like a nice season. He puts up 32 points in 61 games. Then, like you say, falls off. Then gets traded to the Blue Jackets and puts up 32 points in 54 games, looking good. But now, over the last 2 years, 9 points in 38 games. And last year, to be fair, Josh, he had 15 points.
Oh, sorry.
66.
Darn, that's the difference. There you go.
He had 2 goals. So in his career, he has scored 2. Let's see. This is like a golf. It's like adding up my mini golf score. 1 + 7 is 8, + 15, 18, 20. 20 goals in his career. I could have looked at the bottom for that, I know, but
like if Nikitin's getting 4.5, does that mean Dan Boyle gets 8?
Yeah, I'm going to lose my bet. I'm going to lose my Nikitin bet. That's all. That's the first thing that came to me this morning.
4 cookies. 4 cookies. You're going to owe me.
I'm going to win my bet. Vanek is not going to go to Minnesota, but go on, continue.
I mean, even Nikitin what? Will get probably 6 or 7 if
I said over 6.
I mean, I tell you right now, Nikitin and Dan Boyle's agent are like high-fiving each other, like going crazy when they see a deal like this given to Nikitin. $4.5 million per year. I mean, Boyle, Nikitin, $8 million, $9 million a year. Who knows? I mean, everyone's going to forget about Dion Phaneuf and how much he's making. I mean, oh my God. Give your head a shake, Edmonton.
Josh, I'm wondering whether Nikitin's agent is the same agent that got Jeff Finger a $3.5 million contract a few years back.
No, Jeff Finger's agent is Neil Sheehy. Nikitin's agent, I think, is Newport.
Well, there you go. Well, all right. Let me just say this. I think that the money that Nikitin got was more because of the destination. And I mean, I don't want to slag Edmonton or slag the Oilers organization, but let's face it, they've had a tough time getting players to come to Edmonton. And this is another case. I mean, I think Nikitin is basically a 5'6" defenseman, and they are paying him like a top 4. If they play him in their top 4, they're in trouble. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's been massively overpaid. And for teams like Pittsburgh and Toronto, who might have had a little problem trading guys like Letang or Phaneuf if they're entertaining those potential that possibility, that all of a sudden is a little bit easier when you see that Nikita Nikitin is making $4.5 million, and guys like Niskanen are going to make over 6, and guys like Anton Strawman, who couldn't make the Maple Leafs and couldn't make the Columbus Blue Jackets, could make over $4 million in free agency. It is open season on defensemen right now.
I made a mistake. Nikitin's agent is Thomas Caberlet's agent, Rick Curran.
There you go.
And also,
good memories of Rick Curran and Eric Lindros days. Continue. Go ahead.
And Edmonton, guys, remember, lost 3 defensemen to the KHL in the offseason. That's unheard of. I've never heard of a team losing 3 of their defensemen to the KHL. Belov, Grabeshkov, and who's the third guy that went over there? Over there. Belov, Grabeshkov, and was it?
sounds like a joke. Sounds like a good joke. It's like,
is it Martin Moranson?
Did Larson go there? Philip Larson?
I don't know.
I'm going to look this up. You carry on.
Nikita Nikitin is from Omsk. So being that he's from Omsk, he'll eventually be in the KHL as well. So they can all join each other. No, but I mean, to be honest, I think you bring up a perfect point. I mean, it is hard for Edmonton to get people to play there. I talked to one player today who said he would play anywhere but Edmonton or Winnipeg, and that's just a harsh reality of it. I mean, and this is not
KHL. Larson. Sorry, go ahead.
There you go. Very nicely done. Good Canadian kid though, isn't he? Larson. He's not.
Philip Larson? No, he's Swede. Yeah.
He's a sweet. Oh, right. That kind of Larson. Sorry, Larson.
L-A-R-S.
Not like Reed Larson.
Oh,
Right,
sorry. Denmark. That's not Swedish, right? Denmark.
It's close.
Denmark is not Swedish. No.
Yeah.
Same
It's Esbjerg, Denmark. I have no idea if I said that right, but anyway.
Yeah, that's not Sweden, but that's okay. It's close. It is close. People who go to Denmark, people who go to Denmark don't say, "Hey, we've arrived in Sweden."
I apologize to people from Denmark that are watching this podcast.
Same gene
pool.
Like
Greenland, isn't that part of Isn't that Canada?
That's a Danish property.
That's Iceland.
Iceland's part of Canada. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Mexico is lower U.S.
No, lower U.S. is Mexico.
Right, lower U.S. is Mexico. I know. That's That's we're talking about the other. Anyway, that's a long story. Let's not talk that.
But 3 Oilers defensemen, guys.
3 Oilers defensemen, right? Yeah, that's nuts. And to lose when players are choosing the KHL over your, I don't know. That's a tough one. And
Dallas Eakins is a magnet, isn't he?
Mm.
Well, I know that, and there have been some rumors that guys like Paul Ranger, who played for the Leafs last year, who did very well under Dallas Eakins for the 1 year when he was with the Marlies, might go to Edmonton because he wants to continue his NHL career, and he's probably not going to be re-signed by the Leafs. But
that would be a great signing for the Oilers. I think Paul Ranger it still has something left in me. I like Paul Ranger as a player. I think that's the kind of defenseman that they desperately need. And not just the kind of defenseman, but the kind of veteran type presence that they desperately need in Edmonton.
But short of that, the only way that they're going to get defensemen, Eck, is to make deals. And if I know that Josh talked yesterday about the Phaneuf rumor to Edmonton. That is the kind of deal that Edmonton really needs to make because he's locked up for 7 years, right. and once the deal goes in place on July 1st, and he's from Edmonton, so maybe there are some people who play for their hometown and don't want to go back to their hometown. I know that, but
get a guy who's played for a coach before, who had success for that coach, who is from a city, They definitely they should have a shot at him.
Right, exactly.
I mean, people do. This is the thing about Edmonton. I'm not trying to to use your word, slag. I like that word. On either Edmonton or Winnipeg here, but it is just the reality of things. These guys they don't want to live up there. They don't want to. No one thinks that they're bad cities to play for, and they're great fan bases, obviously. And the problem is, neither team has had success in the recent past. I mean, Edmonton had that one run, but that was sort of looked like that was a while ago now, and also was a quick one and done type run. So, and Winnipeg has not gotten it together yet. They're getting there. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, another thing about Edmonton guys is, are they really going with Ben Scrivens as their number 1 guy?
Yeah, they are for sure.
Ben Scrivens
and Victor Thast. That's their tandem.
Yeah, that's their tandem. And then Scrivens is again, another. I mean, it depends on the coach. If the coach stays there, Scrivens is the number 1 guy for sure. And I think Scrivens can do it. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Scrivens. I just think that he's not the problem. The problem in Edmonton, honestly, has not been goaltending. And I mean, people have ripped on the goaltending of the Edmonton Oilers a lot and said that they haven't had a solid goalie, but it really is the defense is in front of that goalie. I mean, there have been some horrible defensive plays. I mean, hearing Justin Schultz's name mentioned the other day in relationship to the Flyers sent shivers down my side because I'm not nothing against Justin Schultz. He's a great offensive defenseman, but my gosh, he gives away the puck so much he makes Paul Coffey look like Dennis Potvin. He's Nick Schultz is Nick Schultz, not Justin Schultz.
You put Justin Schultz and Andrew McDonald together, they'll make more turnovers than Pillsbury. I mean, it's
nice.
Going to be.
Surely you have a comparison you can throw out there, Josh. A metaphor. He's got the Pillsbury thing. I've got. Anyway, yeah.
But no, and one of the things that Edmonton has to worry about is, and I think they did hire Craig Ramsey as an assistant coach, and their forwards have not been able to really play an effective two-way game. They have a lot of offensive talent up front, but they don't have somebody who can really shut things down. Right. Guys like Hall, guys like Eberle, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, they have to learn to play a two-way game and can't play sort of balls out offensively all the time. Otherwise, they're going to give up the most goals in the league. So, but I think that addressing their defense and having some veteran guys on the blue line, will help there. But
I know what you could have done. If you're so in love with Blue Jackets defensemen, why didn't you let them have Yakupov a while ago and take Ryan Murray? That was right there for them. That was an interesting move. Yakupov was so highly regarded as another Ovechkin type player at the time. I get it, but really there's had to be some kind of, there's only so much puck to go around in the team, and it's like you have to.
And there are some questions at whether Columbus would have taken Yakupov number 2 because of their bad record, like Nikita Filatov and other Russian first round picks. They may have even passed Yakupov and gone for someone else. I know Galchenyuk's a Russian born, but he's an American, so they may have gone that direction. But who knows? I mean, Yakupov, in 2 years, he's had one good year, one bad year, and I think he's sort of, in a way, symbolic of Edmonton's problems. But I think it's a problem for Edmonton and Winnipeg to draw free agents when you for half the year have to plug in your car to keep it from keep it from the battery from freezing. So that's a problem too.
It's a problem. And I hope that it's I do want to see the city succeed, and it's just there is a reality. So I think that when you see something like this happen, it's fair to bring it up that they have to make these kind of moves to get guys there sometimes. But the UFA market is going to be tougher, if it's unless it's a player's last resort sort of in different situations. And they're not the only team like that. So, Josh, you got something?
No, okay. I was just looking at
so I got something. The Flyers and Vinny Lecavalier, that's been going on for a bit now, and talking to folks today, I do believe that there's a better than 50-50 chance that Lecavalier will be moved this weekend. I was surprised by that this existed, that there was teams out there that would make a move for him because of the money. However, I heard Buffalo and the Islanders and even Anaheim mentioned with Lecavalier's name. So it's possible.
I'm hearing Florida Panthers, Zach.
Yeah, Florida. See, that's another one. I mean,
yeah.
And obviously that would be kind of a bizarre twist, for Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's a lot of.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say that. Remember, the Panthers want to spend a lot of money here, so they could take on some salary, and obviously Vinny loved living in Florida. This way, you'd just be a little bit more south of where you were before. But I could see Dale Talon going after Vinny, no question.
Yeah,
I think the renewed or new interest in Lecavalier may have something to do with the price that teams are asking for Spezza and for Kessler, because the rumored deals out there, or the rumored price for those two guys especially, to me sounds ridiculous. And if they can get a Lecavalier, he's got 4 years left at $4.5 million, if they can get him for a song, it probably would be more worthwhile for them than paying 2 or 3 top-end prospects to get 1 year of Jason Spezza or Ryan Kessler for 2 years.
Another name I heard today among people I was talking to down in Philly was Louis Eriksson. And it's kind of a little bit surprising in terms of what we've seen happen, but again, Eriksson sort of was a little bit of an odd man out in Boston. As far as not really fitting in necessarily in the right spot. Minnesota has a ton of interest in Louis Eriksson. St. Louis has a ton of interest. Something could happen there with him. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that.
And that would have to be tied with the problem that the Bruins have right now with with the bonuses that were incurred last year because of Krug and Iginla. I mean, Louis Eriksson's got 2 more years at $4.25 million.
And that's a deal. I mean, that's a good deal. I mean, that's a good.
Yeah,
that's
it is
that's
a good deal.
Very tradable player. Put it that way. I mean.
Yeah, and based on Peter Chiarelli's ability to find, contributing players who are on either entry-level deals or lesser deals. I mean, he turned around and in the Sagan deal, and not only got Eriksson, he got Riley Smith, and Riley Smith is a keeper, and he's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, that was the steal of that trade. To further, and we're going to end the podcast relatively soon here, and then I'm going to go up to blogging as well. But to further your cause of what you were saying, Mike, on the prices on Spezza and Kessler, I was texted not too long back today that Sharp might not be enough to get Spezza. That was an amazing thing. Like Patrick Sharp might not be enough to get Jason Spezza to Chicago.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
That's insane when you think about it. It's here to be a center. I also heard today stuff about Iginla possibly going to Washington as a UFA. That Trotz thinks that he would be a good fit for them, and he would be the kind of player who could help mentor some of those guys along. It's not a bad idea. It's give him that.
The news today out of Leafland. Dave Boland's agent apparently is still sticking with the 7 to 8 years at nearly $5 million per, according to Bob McKenzie. I think that's lunacy. I don't think the Leafs will even come close to that. So I think if his agent doesn't come off of that, and now today with all the free agents having the ability to talk to other teams about the parameters of a new deal, I think it's possible that Boland's representative will come back to the Leafs closer to July 1st with a more reasonable outlook, because I don't think there's an NHL team out there that is going to offer Dave Boland 7 years at close to $5 million or anything close to that. I think he'll get at most a 4-year deal out of another team, and if the Leafs are offering him the same 4-year deal around the same money, then it's just a question of whether he wants to be part of the what's going on in Toronto right now, or he wants to go someplace else.
Right. Finally, Paul Stastny is not resigning in Colorado anytime soon, according to reports today. He's going to test the market. I do believe he will end up signing in Colorado, though. I don't think the market is as good as Paul Stastny believes it is for him. Now, that's not, maybe that's a little bit wrong when we sit here and say, okay, well, maybe he's a better option if it requires Sharp to get Spezza, maybe you go for Paul Stastny, but you still got to get rid of money that way. The thing about the Sharp deal is that it helps them in that way, that they can get Spezza and lose Sharp. You have to lose something if you're Chicago to make this deal happen. You can't just sign a UFA. So that's an issue. That's a big issue. Unless they're going to move Patrick Sharp, and for a draft pick, and I don't think that's happening.
Well, I think the Avalanche are letting Stastny test the waters, letting him talk to other. Well, I mean he can right now, but I think they want to let him get a feel of what is out there, and get the parameters of an offer, and then come back to them and say, okay, well you match this or we come close to this, because inherently I think he wants to stay in Colorado, but it's all a question of money.
Right. Finally, and the final thing I'll say is I wrote earlier today that I heard the Penguins were working on something big, and I can confirm that even further from conversations I've had this afternoon. And it's something shockingly big, I was told. So when you think about that, okay, my first question, of course, I asked is this, are we talking about Malkin here? It's not Malkin.
I think Buzz agrees with you.
Yeah, Buzz doesn't like that idea at all. I think the delivery person's here. But I think that it's not Malkin. I think what you're going to, I do, however, think that there might be a trade partner for Marc-Andre Fleury. And that was what I got today. And if there's a place that Marc-Andre Fleury could go, it possibly Minnesota, I was told. Then that opens up Ryan Miller, and all kinds of things for Pittsburgh. So that's going to be something to watch. Josh.
Before I go to my kids' camp thing tonight, I want to ask you guys a question. Which NHL GM will have the greatest sense of buyer's remorse in mid-July?
No.
What do you think?
That's a good question.
So far, it's Craig McTavish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a holiday for them. Buyer's remorse. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question, Josh. Let me ponder that one until tomorrow. I like that.
Okay.
Let's discuss that tomorrow. I'm going to get off and blog, guys, and make sure that no one's robbing the house. We'll talk to you soon. Remember, without the buzz, it's just hockey. Tomorrow, pre-draft day, Friday the draft, blog coming up with all sorts of updates to the rumor chart. It's that time of year, guys. Enjoy. We'll talk to you soon.